Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Golden. Welcome to the Ad Age 20-minute take. I'm so excited to have you all here. Today's 20-minute Ad Age 20-minute take is presented by Verizon Media, and I want to welcome Marinn Jackson, the head of premium sales and strategy for Verizon Media, for joining us for today. Welcome, Marinn. Thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
I'm so excited to do this. This is our first time we're doing one of these pieces of content. I'm super excited to do it with you.
So we can screw up as much as we want, right?
Right. We're going to set the bar as low as physically possible.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Marinn, I want to highlight, this is, obviously a first time we're doing this, but also, it's a great opportunity for people to become familiar with what Verizon Media has been doing and a little bit of the history. So why don't we start with your role, and then also just if you can give me a hint on the history of how Verizon Media has come to where it is today.
Sure. Well, Verizon Media is one of the three business units of Verizon. And if you think about Verizon, there's the consumer business. So
Right.
You've got your phones.
Yeah,
there's the business side, which is think enterprise, and then media. So we represent both a media and tech platform as well as 30 some odd publishers. So when you think of Yahoo Sports or Yahoo Finance, Huffington Post, TechCrunch, Engadget, those are the publisher brands under our umbrella.
Right. And I think that, it's funny when you think about this, sort of the time that we're facing. The topic for today is really about, brand safety and understanding how brands are really moving forward during this really unprecedented time.
Yeah.
Your role in particular and your leadership position at Verizon Media put you in this sort of this catbird seat of watching how brands are behaving during this time. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my role, I look after the premium O&O side of the business. So you should think about not the DSP or the SSP, but our own premium brands. And I look after those teams and how do we create immersive, creative, beyond advertising opportunities for our partners.
Right. And, when I think about the amount, it's like we wrote a story about 2 weeks back that brands were blacklisting the coronavirus content. They didn't want to surround it because of the fear of the, I guess, association with. I'm not. Yeah, it's probably association with it that makes the most sense. Do you see now brands are moving closer back to news, or is that still the same place, or has that evolved?
Well, I mean, we're at a strange time in our industry in general. I mean, there's lots of advertisers aren't even running right now or pausing right now. If you think about the industry, the travel, entertainment, there's no movies being released. So everybody's a little upside down. So I think we have to see out how this works and, when people are going to come back into the marketplace. But news is obviously more important than ever. If we do not support news, we've got no information. So it behooves brands to be part of the dialogue and be in the ecosystem because we will be supporting content that otherwise we couldn't.
Right. Do you see brands moving back towards it a little bit, or is there? I mean, it almost is. It's such an unprecedented time that there isn't really.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid it right now. I mean, so much content is about Corona, even if you're not talking about pandemics and hospitals and first responders. You're talking about what to do with your kids and how do you occupy their time. You're talking about remote learning. You're talking about how to work from home and what's the best chair to buy. I mean, you cannot avoid the content. It is everywhere. That is pretty much what everyone's talking about. So to avoid Corona content at large, you do yourself a disservice. You're not going to get many impressions to buy because that's really what the market is talking about right now.
Right. And actually moving towards brand safety. Obviously brand safety has been such a topic of conversation for so long in the industry. Now brand safety is sort of elevated to a whole other level. I didn't think it was possible, but a whole other level of echelon of now it's actually being safe generically, globally, and then secondarily, when is it appropriate to associate your brand against or with content that's potentially not necessarily positive. So are you seeing brands getting more malleable during this time about what content they want to be close to or nearby?
Yeah, I mean, brand safety again, 3 months ago was hey, I don't want to run adjacent to an ISIS video. I mean, we've gone really far from that.
Very far.
I think we've always have been at a lucky position because we are professionally produced content. We were never in the UGC space. You don't have to worry about that. Everything we produce is by, real journalists and real filmmakers. And so there was a safe space. But Corona's bringing this whole nother layer where brands are afraid to be associated with it. So if you're a cruise line, you don't want to be next to content that's talking about, the cruise lines being places of infection. I mean, that makes sense. But what's happening is that there's like an overzealous, keyword blocking that's happening,
Mm.
which is preventing you from running next to anything, preventing you from running. We could have an article about, I don't know, hey, you're getting a little cabin fever. Here's some great jogs, or great playlists for jogs. And if even it has Corona in the title, you make it, third-party blocking companies blocking that whole
Oh,
content,
interesting.
which is benign. And I would argue, really, none of our advertisers would have a problem running next to that content. The buying community would recommend you run next to that content. But if you've got tech platforms that are just heavy-handed and putting a huge hammer against all of Corona, then you're blocking yourself off to a lot of content that's good for consumers and helpful to consumers. And what brand wouldn't want to be part of that?
Right. I mean, I keep sort of saying this word unprecedented because, with my family or with, people I'm talking to in business, I'm endlessly sort of trying to come up with an analogy that's like, well, it's just like, well, actually never. It's never like anything I've heard before. And I'm, my wife and I were talking about this moment of living in this space of, it's both your fight or flight. You're actually worried, generally worried, but also you have to sort of keep going. Well, I have to go shopping. Well, I have to go outside. So it's an extraordinary time. But I've seen, and you tell me what you've seen, but I've seen a lot of brands who have had a brand purpose that has been strongly defined, much more easily, coming up with a messaging that seems both natural and potentially beneficial. Do you see brand, obviously having a strong brand purpose is critical, but how have you seen brands do that? And then actually, has Verizon had a specific, Verizon Media in particular had a specific purpose that's allowed you sort of, put forth initiatives that make good sense for the consumers?
Sure. Well, there's a lot to unpack. I think first you have to appreciate sort of the landscape, even pre-Corona, that we're in. We live in a real world of cynicism, that we don't trust our government, we don't trust politicians, we don't trust our elections. So there's just like a table setting of cynicism. And the brands that are doing really well in that space have missions, have a belief system. Whether it's sustainability or LGBT rights, or it goes on and on. Believe in climate change, and know that it's bad for business. And those brands have missions. And so to survive this trajectory you're going through, it seems organic and natural to them. If you're trying to create a brand purpose in the middle of a pandemic, that's pretty hard. So I think the brands that are doing well, they're laddering up to what makes sense to them organically, because it lines up to who they are and what they care about, and obviously they care about bringing information to the consumers and making messages that make sense and making them feel good about it. Those are the brands that are going to do well. We just fielded a new study in March all about sentiment.
You sent it to me, right?
Yes.
Let me see if I can bring it up so you can speak to it. Look at me.
One thing I'd want to point out there. Oh, that's it. Look at that.
Technology right there.
Josh, we didn't screw up at all. It's working perfectly.
Look at that. So it's a little bit of state.
And I'm not going to belabor all the points, but I think what's interesting is that, so this is a study we just fielded. So, in the midst of the corona, and we were asking consumers what kind of onus they put on brands. And you could see, 82% of consumers think companies should take a leadership role during this time. They're looking to companies to spread news, to spread information that's going to keep them safe. And so if you run from this, you're not going to be as successful in the long run. So I would just say the point of not the time to build a mission, but if you have one and you're strong and it's legit and it means something, well, you can really pivot in this time to help people out. And you're seeing it with companies like Headspace, right? It's all about
getting a minute, take a breath,
getting a minute, and they're giving free memberships. That makes sense. That's organic to their business. It makes sense, and it's something people need right now. And those companies will be very successful and will be able to use this time to be helpful to the consumers. And consumers will reward people, and they will reward companies who stand for something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you can think what you want about Colin Kaepernick, but you know what? Nike sold a lot of sneakers when they signed him up because people believed in the story, right? It's not for everyone. And you can believe companies do care about sustainability, are going to put a flag in the sand, regardless of the US pulling out of the Paris Agreement. We care about this. This is bad for our business. We need to embrace this, and consumers will reward those kind of companies. And I think the same thing will happen through this, through this landscape that we're looking at right now.
I think it makes complete sense to think about brands that have that kind of purpose-led mission, then driving, Nike, for example, they released a great campaign about basically you want to be a hero, stay at home, and that philosophy was directly derived through a brand platform that they'd already identified for 20 years or so. I think
exactly. You can't invent it right now. There's
right.
a lot of stuff going on. It's not the time to do that.
It does put a little bit of a heavier pressure on a brand to have a specific point of view, and do things that are, if not already, but doing things that are closely associated with what a consumer needs. As we are, nearing our middle point of this, I wanted just to quickly call out.
Yes.
Well, I'm Josh Golden. I'm the president and publisher of Ad Age, and I have with me Marinn Jackson, who leads for Verizon Media. She's the head of premium sales and strategy, and I'm so happy that we're doing this 20-minute take with you guys and as a partner. And I want to call out. We have a lot of folks that are from around the globe. Let me see if I can do some shout outs. There's Evie from Houston, Tiona from Atlanta, Elena from Mexico, Zena from Lebanon, John from Boston, Furies from the Dominican Republic. Shout out DR, Catherine from Orlando, Sharon from Cleveland, and Paris Moitz from Egypt.
Wow.
All over the world, people are joining and getting some insight.
Shouldn't they be sleeping?
They should be probably. It should be sleeping. You're right. It does. We're in the middle point of this, and I do want to play. My children, playing off of Jimmy Fallon. My son and my daughter Eli and Lila made a game, Ad Age Plinko. Would you care to play the game?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay. All right. So there's three possible. Here's the Ad Age Plinko. It is made with It's made with, there's three possible answers. Here's the Plinko ball.
It's like a DIY project.
You can choose the letter you want to drop the Plinko from. And there's questions 1, 2, or 3 that you'll get here. Here we go.
Okay, I will go for the second A.
The second A. Here we go. Well, nope, that didn't count because by the way. Hold on 1 second. I got it.
Hurry up, Josh.
Okay, got it. All right, here comes. The second A. Here comes.
This is great.
3.
Oh, geez.
3. All right. Oh, this is a good one. You're going to like this question. All right. Okay. What are you streaming for an adult audience, and what are you streaming for a kid audience? So, to be honest, I'm endlessly searching. I think I've gone through my entire 80s. I've done Breakfast Club and Edward Scissorhands, and we watched The Outsiders, which was amazing. Stay Golden, Pony Boy. I don't want to take away your thoughts, but what are you streaming?
Okay, for grown-ups, I am totally obsessed with Peaky Blinders. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm really enjoying that.
I heard it's brilliant. Yes.
Oh, so good, so good. Great, just production quality, music, costume. For kids, I mean, I don't think it's appropriate, but on my 14-year-old's birthday, we watched Step Brothers together. Wildly inappropriate. So that's my best.
Which one? I'm sorry, I missed that. You were just
Step Brothers.
Which one was the second one? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh, Step Brothers, the movie. It's not for children. It's a bad recommendation, but that's what we watched together.
Okay, great.
But it was. They're watching like the Gilmore Girls. They're like into like the retro stuff from like 10 years ago. They're rediscovering all those kind of shows.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls. My goodness. I have.
What's old is new.
Yeah, I'm not. I have Gilmore Girls socks. Yes, that is definitely true. All right, so we're gonna go. I want to invite everyone to sort of toss in some questions that Marinn and I will go to after I ask just a few more questions for her here. So, as we're in your position, obviously you have a significant role at Verizon Media to help brands understand what they should be doing to sort of challenge to deal with the challenging space. What is Verizon suggesting? How are you sort of offering solutions? What things are you suggesting they go do to be more effective with brands?
Listen, we're incredibly empathetic to what our clients are going through. We are not like, it's not about a hard sell right now. It's all about how do we help them? How do we navigate? Listen, some of this stuff is just out of their control, whether it's a supply chain issue or they don't have appropriate creative. So we are just trying to be incredibly empathetic to what their businesses are going through. But I would say, through branded content, we have a team called Riot Studio, which is our branded content offering. And what we're telling our clients is like, how do we help you storytell in a way that you can't do through your traditional media. And a
Mm.
lot of the work we're working on is Corona related storytelling. So that's one service we're offering. The other one is through our ACT team, which is a design creative team. We're offering help with our clients who don't have appropriate creative. So if you are a brand and the only creative you have is like a big birthday party scene, we're helping them with content that's appropriate right now. So we're not feeling insensitive. So I think storytelling is more important than ever. And again, this is you're able to do things you couldn't do in traditional media, and there's a lot of conversations. I also think when we come out of this, we're going to be really teed up to help with reputation building.
Oh,
So think about the cruise lines; it's safe to come back. The hotels, our hotels are safe. How do we help those clients who are going to have to kind of rebuild? And that's a place that we can play in. So again, we're not. It's not heavy-handed. We're here to help, and that's what the service that we're providing for them right now.
Marinn, do you mind if I go to a question from someone on LinkedIn? I think
Yeah.
it's an interesting one. So it's from Annette on LinkedIn. Hi, Annette. Thank you for watching. Here's the question. When is a good time to move forward with launching a new product that were in the pipeline before COVID-19?
Gosh, it's so dependent on the product, right? Like, is it relevant? I wouldn't say, listen, people are consuming more media than ever before. If you want to try to break through, it's a good time. You have an incredibly captive audience. People are streaming more than ever. They're watching more TV than ever. They're on digital more than ever. So you do not have to worry about clutter. Like, there's a lot of attention being paid at home. So I would say if it's a relevant product that your supply chain isn't clogged up, we're seeing a lot of direct to consumer brands doing very well in this marketplace. So if you have a supply chain that's not contingent on, physically going to a store, then why not?
Can you give me just some metrics of understanding how, when you say it, D2C brands are doing better during this time, is it their traffic that's becoming more, they're getting more engagement? Are they being, are they up the middle going towards a coronavirus sort of solution, like for time spent? What's the things that are
A lot of
resonating?
it's related to sort of the situations you're in. So whether it's fitness, whether it's entertainment, we're seeing a lot in the video game space. But if you don't have challenges with getting your products in the hands of people because of what the situation and the lockdowns we're in, then yeah, those brands are doing great. Anything streaming is doing very well. And I would say most of them are doing performance-driven advertising to get, and if you can deliver it digitally, you're a home run right now.
Marinn, I have a question for you, just something that I'm curious about, because, this great thing that we're doing together, these 20-minute takes, I'm so excited about it. But I got to tell you, this wasn't on my plan, when I started in January this year. And we're looking at, I don't know, 3 or 4 major things that are completely new and totally differentiated. And I'm, as an idea guy, I don't know if it's going to work, but I really hope it does. The question I have is, what things are you seeing that when you look down the road, what things are going to change sort of globally that will stick during, the sort of the post-pandemic timeframe? If we ever, I'm positive we will get there, but
we'll get through it. Well, for me, I feel like again, I'm not a futurist, but the pandemic has shown me like it's almost like 2 pandemics. Like there's the rich and the poor, and I'm seeing, I live in New York City, and I see there's a big dichotomy between the rich and the poor and how they're living through this experience. My kids are in public school, and you could totally see, the haves and have-nots who have access to technology. So when I think about categories that are ripe for disruption, I think education, and I think I also think healthcare. I mean, gosh, we've been not talking about healthcare forever, but if you think about education, you think about healthcare. Those categories are so disruptible, and the pandemic has shown how we can pivot and not be location based and married to locations. So I think that is something to think about and really disruptor. And then being part of Verizon, are doubling down on 5G, how 5G is going to transform the world. And I just feel more bullish about 5G and how we are building a network that is going to sustain remote access to the best teachers in the world, the best medical care in the world. I'm just feeling really strong, feeling really proud of the company because I think it's going to be a huge resource for people who are going to kind of invent new businesses based on that network.
It's I got to tell you, it's seeing the brands that are doing the big moves and being innovative in this space. It's exciting for me in my role at Ad Age, watching all the brands and seeing who is moving the most. And it's super, super exciting to see what you guys are doing. And I want to thank you, Marinn, for joining me for the 20-minute take and doing this with me and answering some great questions. You did a great job. And we did the
Thanks,
first one.
Josh. All right,
Done.
well.
It was great. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
being.
everyone.
I want to quickly plug. We have another one coming up on Thursday. regarding OTT and streaming and programmatic solutions for that, as well as on next Tuesday, one about gaming on Tuesday. So with that, I will sign off. Thank you, Marinn, again. I really
Thanks, Josh.
appreciate it.
All right,
Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Bye now.
Bye.